Some crimes are solved, but the answers still don't sit right. The killer is behind bars. The case is closed. But something still feels off. Maybe it's the motive that never made sense. Maybe it's the evidence that magically appeared. Or maybe it's what law enforcement chose to ignore. These aren't cold cases. These are solved. But they still leave behind questions, doubts, and chills. From suspicious confessions to courtroom twists no one saw coming. Here are two solved true crime cases that still frustrate us. Because justice was served, but the truth might still be out there. Let's dive in. They say the sea keeps its secrets. But on a warm October night in 1947, somewhere between South Africa and England, the ocean swallowed one. It's never given back. Gay Gibson Young, radiant and full of ambition, was an actress on the rise. She'd been working in South Africa and was heading home to England aboard the Durban Castle, a sleek passenger liner slicing through the moonlit waves. That night, Gay danced, laughed, lived. Then, just after 1 a.m., she stepped out for a bit of air. Alone, quiet, just her and the stars. A little while later, she slipped back to her cabin. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. At 2:58 a.m., something strange happened. Red and green lights started blinking on the cruise gallery panel signals from cabin 126. That was Gay's room. A steward needed urgently. The on-duty watchman, Frederick Steer, went to check it out. He knocked. No answer. He pushed the door only, for it to be shoved back. Hard. But before it could slam shut, he caught a glimpse of someone inside. Not just anyone. James Cam, a steward with a reputation. Handsome, slick-talking, went by Valentine below deck. The kind of guy who thought no one could say no. Now, Steer. He saw Cam. He knew it was Cam. But instead of raising the alarm, he backed off. Didn't want to snitch. Didn't want drama. Big mistake. Next morning, 7:30 a.m., a stewardess walks into cabin 126. The place is a wreck. No sign of Gay. They page her over the ship's intercom. Silence. Finally, Steer cracks and tells the truth. He saw Cam coming out of her room in the dead of night. Cam's story? Get ready for this. He says they were having a consensual tryst when, suddenly, she started convulsing, foaming at the mouth and just died. So what did he do? Call for help? Alert the captain? Nope. He shoved her body out the porthole. See, just like that. But the court wasn't buying it. Witnesses came forward. Scratches on Cam's body. A contraceptive in Gay's bag suggesting she might have had plans, but not necessarily with him. The defense tried to drag Gay's name through the mud, called her promiscuous, questioned her past, even grilled her mother about alleged affairs. It was ugly. In the end, the jury didn't believe Cam. He was sentenced to life. But here's the twist. He didn't stay locked up. Paroled in 1959. And not long after, he was back in court. Assaulted a 13-year-old girl. Got probation. Then, assaulted 3 more. This time, back behind bars. Gay Gibson's body was never found. No grave. No goodbye. Just a dark cabin, a slammed door, and a story that doesn't add up. Was it murder? A cover-up? Or something darker? Hiding in the waves? This is the ghost of cabin 126.
He was smart, ambitious, and deadly. In the early 1980s, a young med student named Michael Swango began his rise through the medical world. But behind the scrubs and scalpel was a man with a chilling nickname, Double O Swango, because wherever he worked, people died.
Hospitals are supposed to heal, but every now and then, a doctor walks in who brings something else, something darker, something deadly. Meet Michael Swangobi, all accounts, a bright young med student in the early 1980s. Southern Illinois University School of Medicine. Sharp suit, sharp mind, sharper ego. But his classmates noticed something was off. He wasn't just intense, he was obsessed, competitive to the point of madness. He gave off the kind of vibe that made people joke behind his back. They called him 00 Swango, as in James Bond, as in License to Kill. Problem was, the joke started to feel real. Patients under Swango's care had a bad habit of dying. A lot of them. And not in ways that made sense. He was even accused of faking medical reports. But he still graduated. Still got himself into a residency at Ohio State in 1983. Neurosurgery. Big dreams. Bigger body count. Because once again, patients started dropping quickly. One nurse caught him injecting a patient with something she didn't recognize. That patient stopped breathing moments later. Another patient, just 21 years old, died suddenly. And an autopsy revealed gauze had been stuffed down his throat. Swango said he just found him like that. Right. And it wasn't just patients anymore. Doctors on staff got violently ill after sharing a bucket of fried chicken Swango brought in. At first, it seemed like bad luck. But when it keeps happening around the same guy, well, luck doesn't look like that. Still, no hard evidence meant no charges. OSU cut him loose, but here's the kicker, they gave him glowing letters of recommendation. That's right, they helped him keep killing. He moved back to Quincy, Illinois. Got a gig as an EMT. Started handing out donuts at work. Everyone who ate them, sick. His co-workers grew suspicious and set a trap. Unsweetened tea was left unattended. When Swango walked out of the break room, it was sweetened, laced with arsenic. Gotcha. He was arrested, convicted for poisoning his co-workers. Spent 2 years in prison. You'd think that'd be the end. It was just intermission. Swango changed his name. When future employers asked about that little poisoning conviction, he told them it was just a bar fight. That was enough to land a teaching gig at a medical school in Virginia. Surprised co-workers got sick. Again. Then came a psychiatric residency in New York. More death. Lethal injections. At least 3 confirmed victims there. Probably more. Fired again. No hospitals left in the US willing to take him. So he ran. All the way to Zimbabwe in 1994. New fake documents. Same old Swango. He got a job at a mission hospital. 5 patients died under his care before anyone connected the dots. He tried to disappear again, this time to Saudi Arabia. But in 1997, when he landed briefly in Chicago to catch his connecting flight, the feds were waiting. He never made it to the gate. Swango eventually pled guilty to 4 murders. But the real number? They say it could be over 60. 60 souls. Silenced by the man who was supposed to save them. This is the case of the doctor who killed